Good Tuesday morning, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to Real Talk. This is an insider's guide to real estate, life, and the pursuit of happiness. It's presented by the Yes Team Realtors, Keith and Yonna Smith. Keith and Yonna Smith. Trusted advisors in the game. I very much enjoy this show. I think you guys know that as well. Judah Wickhauer is our director. This man puts so much heart and soul into everything he does, whether it's bicycle riding, whether it's being a trusted advisor, whether it's being the executive producer of this show, whether it's eating one too many bonbons and drinking a little too much coffee. Keith Smith is a passionate man.
You were doing really great until you went there.
Don't you like the bonbons, my friend?
Man, you know, Marines love all Marines love three things.
Oh.
Right. The first one.
What, beautiful Austrian women?
Well, in this case, this Marine.
Okay.
Loves beautiful. One particular
woman.
Particular beautiful Austrian woman. But, you know, well, I'll leave the first one out for everybody's imagination.
Okay.
The second.
Wait, why are you leaving the first one out? Now I want to know what the first one is.
You know, come on, use your imagination.
Okay.
Okay. Got it now?
Got it.
I got to teach you everything?
Got it now.
So that's what all Marines love. The second thing all Marines love is alcohol.
Yeah.
Never met a Marine that didn't like to drink. And the last thing that, and most people don't know this, Marines love sweets. Right? You know, we call it geedunk in the Marine Corps, but, you know, it was, you know, cupcakes. I mean, you could show up with a bunch of Marines and with cupcakes and nothing else, and there goes the cupcakes, and, you know, they love them. It's a Marine thing. I never quite understood it, but so I carry that along, and it's funny because Yonna actually hides the cookies and stuff in the house.
Does she really?
Oh, totally.
Yeah? Because they'd be gone the first day they came in?
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
You know, get me a half a gallon of milk and a box of Oreos.
Oh, that's mine. I love that.
Double stuff or?
I go double stuff.
Ooh.
Sure. Do you dip or no dip?
Oh, got to dip.
You got to dip.
But you got to do it just right.
Oh yeah, because then it'll crumble or fall into the milk.
Don't do it. You got to do it at the right amount of speed and the right amount thing, and it's.
Because you don't want the Oreo residue at the bottom of the cup.
No, to go along, we're getting off subject here, but
we always do.
We always do. But to go,
we love you, Quentin Beckham. We love you, Quentin Beckham.
We'll talk real estate. I promise.
We love you, Quentin Beckham.
Right. True story. So, as those who watch the show know, the first half of the '80s, I was attached to the U.S. embassies behind the Iron Curtain. So I was in Bulgaria, Czechoslovakia, Romania, Hungary, the Soviet Union, all this stuff for half a decade. And to tell you that, just finish the story about all Marines love stuff, right? We used to fly out of the country to Greece to get a bag of Oreo cookies and fly back in because you couldn't get it behind the Iron Curtain. That's what we used to do. That was the fun.
That's great.
Flying to Greece to go ahead and get a bag of Oreo cookies. So.
Keith Smith, fantastic people. We'll give some love, Judah, to Intrastate Pest and Service Companies.
Please.
One of the presenting sponsors of the show. Truly a hole's best friend. Intrastate Pest and Service Companies online at intrastateinc.com. A lot to cover.
A ton to cover.
So, and Stephanie's a no dip kind of gal. Stephanie Wells Rhodes watching right now. No dip for Stephanie.
Ooh.
I thought you would be a dip gal, Stephanie. So you like it with milk and dry Oreo? Is that what you like? Judah seems like a milk and dry Oreo guy. How about we? Oh, Judah's a dip.
No, you definitely have to dip.
Okay, Judah's a dip. Judah's a dipper. Are you a double dipper?
Ooh, that takes guts.
Because you're saying it'll crumble and fall to the bottom of the cup if you double dip.
That takes guts.
I can double dip.
Yeah, whatever.
You don't double dip?
Apparently I'm not as good as you. I'm single dip, cookie in the mouth.
Judah's got something to say, Keith.
I dip it until right before it starts to crumble, and then I pull it out, and that's just perfection.
So, do you?
She says no soggy Oreos for me, Keith Smith.
And I will never argue.
Okay, she says no soggy Oreos.
I will
for me,
change my ways. I've been on the wrong path for nearly 60 years.
On Friday, we should do this.
Cookies, okay.
Yeah, milk, some Oreos.
Oh, she won't be here. We do it.
What? Oh, because Yonna's not going to be watching, so you can sneak some treats in the breakfast.
Yeah, Yonna will be with our daughter, who's going to give birth to our second grandchild.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
When? This coming weekend?
She's going up Thursday, I think, but it's a C-section, so it's planned on the 26th.
Okay.
But
best of luck.
Going to go help with little Harry, our little grandson, and she didn't ask me. That's okay. It's okay.
One thing we want to
So
know.
we got to go back to the Oreo thing, though,
Okay,
if you don't
sure.
mind.
Aaron Kingsley says dipping is for children. Adults dunk donuts in their coffee. Jojo Robertson, is Lloyd Snook on today? Yes, he's on at 12:30 today, Jojo.
12:30, Jojo.
Yeah, 12:30.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Do you drink the milk after you're done?
Of course.
Okay.
I mean, that's the. You know what the best.
I think
part,
we just got called children, by the way.
You know what
since
the
we
best part of the experience is drinking the milk. It's like when you're eating a bowl of Lucky Charms. Yeah, I enjoy eating the charms and the cereal, but it's the milk that I truly like.
We got to get on with the show because I was going to go sideways and talk about the Milkman drink.
That place is great, Dairy Market.
But he has a drink that he uses used.
Yeah, the Breakfast of Champions.
Correct. And
he has the
cereal
milk.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the drink.
In the drink. Have you
Dairy
had that?
Market.
Have you had that yet?
I have not had that yet.
Yeah.
Dairy Market, guys, one of the presenting sponsors of this show. All right, how about City Manager? We lost you a little bit yesterday on the I Love CVille show.
We did.
JoJo's watching. Your thoughts on Chip Boyles. Before we talk these topics, A, should Crozet, Virginia be converted to a town? We'll talk about that with Keith Smith.
And how you do that.
And how do you do that? And B, listen to this. Retirees are flocking to Charlottesville, Virginia at a clip that is the second greatest in the United States behind Orlando, Florida. And Virginia, the Commonwealth in totality, is the most popular state for retirees to move to of any in the free union. We'll talk those topics after we hear from the distinguished gentleman about Chip Boyles.
Yeah, I think we've kind of beat this subject to death a little bit on that end of it. You know, I said this before, I come from a very different perspective because I have a very close working relationship with Chip over years. I was part of the executive team that hired him at the commission. And I think the point I was trying to make yesterday was kind of add a little bit of context to when Chip took over. And a simple Google search will find out how really dire the commission was at that particular point in time. You know, there was a HUD grant, they called a livability grant, or livability communities, or community livabilities grants, excuse me, on that. It was like $1 million grant, and there was like $500,000 problem that we had to figure out. The city of Charlottesville wouldn't talk to us, Albemarle County wouldn't talk to us, the rest of the jurisdictions wouldn't work with us. We had a huge vacating of employees. Frankly, was very close to having to shut our doors after 1972. So those who are not familiar with this, the best way to think about it, it's a government body. Everything is a public record, and it was established in 1972. But the way I explain folks to it, it's kind of like a consulting company, right? So it's a land planning or planning consulting company, and we work for the jurisdictions. That's what happens. So, for instance, Louisa County and Fulvana County are doing a joint plan around Zion's Crossroads, right, to kind of figure out how to attract businesses to that. So we are that body is the body that generates this report. So I guess what I was trying to say earlier, he was able to right that ship, and that ship was in really bad shape. Very different circumstances, right? But I think if you give the gentleman an opportunity, he'll surprise you and support him. And I think you'll hear from Lloyd today at your noon show that, I think the city council will support him. Was it done complete, that I liked the way it was done? Not necessarily.
Well, they had to scramble.
They had to scramble.
They had no choice.
Yeah.
When Blair, and we love John Blair.
Sure.
We love John Blair.
Sure.
But when John Blair left for Stanton to take the city attorney job and said, I don't want to be the interim city manager
anymore.
It
was a desperate move. Yeah. And I
they did the best they can with what they had.
Correct. And I think they hit a home run.
Agreed.
So give the gentleman an opportunity. We'll know in 3 to 6 months if it's really going to work. And I think it will. I think if he gets support, it will. But it's just, the whole city government, frankly, is in shambles. And when he took over the commission, and again, I just know that because I was I was running the commission up until the point, along with David Blunt, who was the acting AD at the time, to try to reorganize it, restructure it, re-come in, and then we hired him. But there was about a year that we were trying to manage this together, and eventually we found Chip to come in with a national search and all that stuff. So, give him an opportunity. He will surprise you.
Live on Facebook, we're live on Instagram here on Real Talk. Well, thanks, Scott Morris, one of the best of the best. If you're looking for some financing for your house,
Without doubt.
Scott Morris is a fantastic option, undoubtedly. Here's a topic, Instagram and Facebook, that you guys should know about. He put this on my radar, and I'm going to show you the influence he has. This is going to originate on this show, and for the entire week, we're going to talk about this on this network, because it's a positive topic of Charlottesville and Central Virginia and the Commonwealth. So I'll set the stage and get your take. Retirees.
Oh, I'm smiling there for a minute. I wasn't sure where we were going for a second.
You thought Oreos again? Retirees are flocking to the Commonwealth of Virginia at a clip better and faster than any other state in the United States. More retirees are coming to Virginia than any other state in the country. On top of that, more retirees are coming to Charlottesville, Virginia than any other city in America except Orlando, Florida. So Charlottesville's 2. And get ready for this statistic. You know who's 3 on that list? Waynesboro, Virginia. Any city in America, number 3 from retirees coming and moving to is freaking Waynesboro, Virginia. Roanoke, Virginia in the 4th spot. I mean, do you have the slides on screen? Keith Smith, thoughts on this topic?
Yeah, so there's another stat in there that I didn't share with everybody, and if you read the article, you would hear it. Do you know what the number one, buyer profile is? What we use in our vernacular, who is retiring to the state of Virginia and to Charlottesville and to Waynesboro?
The number one buyer profile? Mm-hmm. What are you talking, like a baby boomer?
No. So I'll just say it.
Yeah.
Single women.
Really?
Number one.
The number one?
Single women. And that's been tracking if you've been tracking the...
So a retired single woman.
Retired single woman. And couples is Florida. So the number one couple, and again, by what percentage and numbers.
What do you make of that statistic?
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest with you. I know it's the trend, and we've been seeing this.
Caitlin Mancini, welcome to the broadcast.
Hey, Caitlin.
Yeah.
And Caitlin can probably share some thoughts on this, but
Chris Henry's watching.
Hey, Chris.
Dairy Market, Chris Henry. He wants to know, where's this report? Chris Henry, I agree. This is something we'll see in the I Love CVille Network. So cite the source.
Yeah,
because
so...
the folks at Dairy Market want to know.
Got it. So it's through Realtor magazine, but it's if you Google Hire a Helper, it's a app. It's kind of like a... Amazon app, not an Amazon app, like an Orbitz app, right? And if you were to plug into that, I am moving.
Oh, everybody wants to know this. Okay, Nikki Wooten Chambliss just said, where's the link to this data? All right, everybody that's watching, Keith Smith found this.
Yeah.
I give you credit for that. I'm going to put the link in all the comment sections.
So I'm going to do a little bit of mea culpa here. Who found it for me was Quentin Beckham.
Quentin Beckham?
Quentin Beckham.
Quentin Beckham. Someone tag Quentin Beckham and get him on the feed. All right, anybody that's watching on Facebook, I'm putting the link. Chris Henry, I'm responding to your comment here and tagging the link and sending it to you. Dude, this is a hot topic.
Yep, so it's Hire a Helper. And just to if you take a look at it, in essence, it's like an Orbitz app. You would say, I'm moving from downtown Manhattan to Charlottesville. And what it does is it kind of gives you all the different moving companies and options, and then you can do things like I want to hire somebody to pack me out in Manhattan, and then I want somebody to unpack me. So it's very real time and real world on what it is, very accurate data on that end of it. So. It's a recurring thing that we've been having in our area. The 30 some odd years I've been living here, consistently we're number 1, number 2, number 3, right? And when we say Charlottesville, it's not the city of Charlottesville, it's the region.
Yeah, we know
right?
that.
Yeah. So, some who may be watching who's not familiar with Charlottesville might not understand that.
And and it's extremely important that we emphasize this all the time. For the folks that want to see the entire region boom, let's be positive, everybody, about Charlottesville, because as Charlottesville goes, the region goes.
Well, we're going to change that a little bit. As Charlottesville and what's the other 10-ton elephant? UVA.
Yeah, it's a city of UVA.
As UVA and Charlottesville goes the rest of the rest. So it's a really interesting article. Those we can bury it into the feed, excuse me, on the Realtor magazine. But it's pretty interesting that what I thought was the interesting fact was that retiring women and singles are most likely to choose Virginia, while couples and males are more likely to move to Florida. The study found.
Can I make some assessments on that? Or
Sure.
take some cracks on why that is?
Sure.
I mean, obviously, Florida and the luxury of no state income tax.
Without a doubt.
With the couples. I mean, if you're a couple and you're retiring, why wouldn't you go to a state that has no state income tax? Secondly, why are dudes moving to Florida? I can tell you that. You got a plethora of golf courses for dudes to play out there. You got some nice weather.
So the
You're
third.
giving me that mischievous look. Do you think I was also going to say beautiful women? Is that
No,
what you,
no.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yes, but no.
I knew you.
No, so you think money, right? You always go to money.
No, that's
right?
not true.
Right, okay.
That is not true.
Well,
I'm
you
a
went
son of
to
a CPA.
Okay, got it. Then you went to money. So, but when you get to the tender age of almost 60,
Your joints.
you literally start thinking weather. That's really the first thing in your head. I swear to God, that's what it is. And I would, for decades, as we were building houses, I would say, what's the attraction to Florida? I don't get it. When I started going over double nickels, and everything hurts when it's cold and all that stuff.
Double nickels. 55 double nickels. Carol
Sorry.
Thorpe, hello. Christopher Eagle, hello. Andre Xavier, hello. Johnny Ornalis, hello. Bill McChenzie, hello. Keller Williams Alliance watching the broadcast. Nest Realty, Real Estate 3, Long and Foster, and Roy Wheeler all on the broadcast.
I think the big news out of this article that I read, the main takeaway is what you and I have been talking about probably for like a dozen or 24 shows, is Waynesboro. And the stats are showing that. So when Waynesboro is number 3 in the whole country, according to this app, right? That's some big news. I think it's big news anyway. And
Yeah.
why is that? Inexpensive, right?
You're saying, wait, why is Waynesboro attractive?
Yes.
Yeah. You want 5 quick hitting reasons?
5 quick hitting reasons. Don't start with money.
Okay. It's an incredibly short drive to Charlottesville.
There you go.
You have a lot of emerging amenities.
Yep.
The price points are extremely reasonable.
Okay.
There's the money. What
There's
you
the
get
money.
for the money goes a long way. The tree streets in Waynesboro, I've been emphasizing this, dude. The tree streets in Waynesboro are gorgeous.
So
Gorgeous.
if we're saying Virginia is women and singles, and we're saying Waynesboro is number 3, typically a woman and a single, they're active, right? They
Yeah.
want to go. Males are also, but
So you know what you need to do if you're Waynesboro and you have more retired women.
a bar. Got to win a bar.
It's the 3rd largest city from
Bar.
women moving. No, you said it's number 1. Did you say it was number 1 for women moving?
No, so women
Uh-huh.
and singles will move to Virginia.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
So Charlottesville, Waynesboro, and Roanoke. So Roanoke and Chris Henry is from Roanoke.
Oh, I didn't know that. Chris Henry.
Hope I didn't make a boo-boo by doing that. That's number 4 in the country. So why is that? Why is it number 4? Why is Waynesboro number 3? Why is Charlottesville number 2? And I think a lot of it has to do with the room and the space, right, that you can get. I think pricing, we keep on talking about that. You can get more for your dollar there. If you start taking a look at Waynesboro and Roanoke, which I did earlier this morning, depending on where you're at, but closer into the city, they have super Wi-Fi or broadband infrastructure. In that, you go out a little bit out in the country, it changes a little bit, but you have, and we talked about this the other day, you have broadband infrastructure. I know the Blue Ridge, forgotten the name of the airport on the other side of the mountain. I think it's Blue Ridge. Somebody will chime in. That's starting to become a hot hub for people to fly in and out of. You're close to 81, can buzz up, buzz down, close to 64, buzz in. And then, Keith and Yonna like to hike now. That's what we're doing because our daughter out in Seattle got us hiking boots, so now we got to hike.
I can't see you hiking. Do you enjoy hiking?
I do, actually.
Do you enjoy hiking?
I do.
I can see Yonna enjoying hiking.
It's actually the opposite.
Really? Yonna does not like
I got to
hiking?
drag her up. She goes, I left Austria for this shit. Right?
It's like in Back to the Future when Marty McFly is jogging and people are like, why are you running, dude? Why are you jogging?
Well, Mrs. Smith goes, really?
Michael Plecker, Waynesboro says this. Michael Plecker's watching.
Great guy to talk about this.
Yeah, Waynesboro. Yeah,
he's a Waynesboro guy.
He says that. Waynesboro, Virginia, my old stopping grounds.
Yep.
Fishersville, Stuart Straff, and
Yep.
Stanton, Virginia,
Yep.
all big time now.
Yep.
And then he says, good news for the future of the River Burger Bar. And he tagged Mandy Lynn Stintsy, who I think may be tied to the River Burger Bar. The great part of this show, Instagram and Facebook, is you can interact with the comments, interact with the show, and by putting comments in the feed, you will influence our discussion here on the program. I mean, once again, another outlet that's respected and has a national, if not global reach. And undoubtedly, Realtor magazine is got reach.
So it went out to every
realtor
in the country.
Yeah.
Every realtor in the country gets this in their mailbox.
So every realtor in the country just got this link in this article
That's
that
exactly
shows Charlottesville is the second most popular city for retirees to move. Waynesboro is the third most popular city. And Roanoke is the fourth most popular city. Number one is Orlando, Florida.
Yep.
That's incredible.
I don't get Orlando, but that's okay.
Orlando's great.
No, I don't get that.
You could do anything you want in Orlando.
If you're going to go to Florida, you got to be by the water.
I was born in Naples, Florida.
Ooh, I did not know that.
Yeah. Naples, Florida.
Beautiful part of the country.
It is amazing.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Very nice.
So we just kind of wanted to start off on that and see if there was any feeds and any bounce back on the feed on what folks think why this is happening. I think we've been outlining this on the show.
Chris says, these are all great places to live. You need to follow me around, Keith. Chris Henry. We need to get Chris Henry back in here.
So my immediate reaction is, so where are you moving next?
Chris Henry, I hope you're not moving. You're doing too many good things for this area, Chris.
He's not, but darn it, he's right. It's they have give a shout out to Chris.
Chris Henry, guys, is the visionary behind Dairy Market and many projects in this area.
And I literally, that was the word I was going to use.
Visionary?
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's visionary.
And
I think the trophy brand in his portfolio is Dairy Market, Dairy Central, though. Just because of its location and how dynamic it is from a build-out. I mean, it's doing so many things.
As far as Charlottesville is concerned, I think their portfolio is a little bit larger than that. But yeah.
Yeah, he's got a huge portfolio.
Yeah,
I'm just saying the one that I think most people know about.
Correct. In our neighborhood. Yeah, and we love it. I've been there to lunch. I can't tell you how many times since it's opened up. I just absolutely love it. Get in, get out, COVID safe.
Who are the big visionaries, you think, in that space? Chris, we've acknowledged. Who else you think? I mean, you got to put Frank Bailiff in there.
Yeah, I mean, you can. I mean, look, at the end of the day, anybody who's doing that kind of work, that's the first it's you need to have is vision. And then you got to have a really super thick skin.
Yeah.
Super thick skin. And, it's, I have a personal affection for Chris. I think the world of him, and I think the world of his family and his organization. And, they consistently do the right thing. Not everybody, some people might not agree with that statement, but they do the right thing. And they always show up and do the right thing, and they engage the community. And, he's on my Regional Housing Partnership committee board, right? So, he's doing the right thing.
Love it.
I'm excited about working with them.
Crozet, comments coming in for Crozet.
Yeah.
And people are itching for us to talk. I mean, this is a topic, screaming Neil Williamson, hint, hint, Neil Williamson.
Man, we kind of scrambled to put this together late at the last minute yesterday evening, and I wasn't going to do that to Neil and try to get him in on it. But
there's a comment coming in that's a good springboard of this discussion.
Sure.
And this is from Mark McKenney.
Okay.
And the topic we're about to pivot to is, should Crozet, Virginia be incorporated into a town to potentially offer the residents of Crozet and its leadership more autonomy with decision making? That's the topic. This is what Mark McKenney said. Crozet as a town is a double-edged sword, Keith and Jerry. Conceptually, one would think it's a great idea, give the town the ability to control growth and zoning. Realistically, it is not. Crozet as a town would have to raise revenue also, which means more taxes on top of what is already paid by residents to the county. Also, there is nothing stopping the county from growing areas outside of a town limit, which would then impact the infrastructure issues within the town of Crozet, specifically schools, roads, and first responders, Keith. Also, a portion of the revenue would not go to the county and would then go to the town, meals tax, possibly utility taxes. So why would the county then turn and invest other county dollars into the infrastructure issues within Crozet? As an example, Keith and Jerry, please consider Scottsville. It was incorporated into a town in 1818. Currently, it has roughly 600 residents with a town budget of $550,000. If Crozet has more than 10,000 residents, which we all think it does, just think of what the size of the town budget would be needing to support a town of this size. That is damn good, right?
So this subject is now over.
I mean, that was phenomenal.
Literally, that's what all these notes are about ready to say.
Wow.
So he articulated.
Mark McKinney.
Mark, you're a rock star, man. We don't know who you are, but you're a rock star.
I don't know who he is.
But you literally spot on did it, and I don't know where to take it from there. It's literally all the talking points that I had written down for this show, because it's kind of one of these categories. He used a double-edged sword. My comment was going to be careful what you wish for. You might just get it. Right? So, and he's spot on. So if you take the opportunity, the only incorporated town in Albemarle County is Scottsville. If you take a look at Scottsville and take a look at what it is and take a look at its budget, it's 100% right. You're going to have to, first of all, the process to go from this conversation to actually doing it is huge.
Yeah.
Because this has to be decided by the state legislature.
Right.
So they have to do that, and you have to do meets and bounds, and you have to get, I think, so many signatures on it, and you're going to have to create your own. You've got to present your governmental plan.
Chris has got a comment.
Sure.
He says Albemarle County is way better off together than apart.
Well,
my 2 cents.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was going to ultimately end up in this conversation. From my perspective, what I wanted to do was exactly what happened. I wanted to feed to kind of bounce in this. I think,
more comments coming in.
The shiny red object looks really nice until you kind of get into it and start looking at it. But, it's...
James Gallagher, Jerry and Keith, I'm third generation Crozet. We don't want to become Scottsville. We don't want to become a town.
What you don't want to become is Columbia, the town of Columbia. That's what you don't want to become. So the town of Columbia, so anybody understands the history of town of Columbia.
Columbia, tell them where.
So that's in Fluvanna County.
Yeah.
It's on the James River. If you dig up and do a little bit of history of it, I don't know if it's urban legend or it's true.
I'm about to learn something here.
Right.
I don't know anything about this.
So the town of Columbia, by one vote, missed being the capital of Virginia. Now, I don't know if that's urban legend or whatever, but that's the information that I have. But that town went from a bustling town to dilapidated houses, and what ultimately happened, because I was part of it on the Fluvanna County side, they actually took back in the town.
Fluvanna County absorbed the town.
They absorbed the town. They dissolved the charter because there was no mayor,
so there's no town of Columbia anymore.
The town of Columbia does not. The physical incorporated town of Columbia doesn't exist.
Is there any town incorporated in Fluvanna County?
No, that I believe that was the last one. So in Albemarle County, I know Scottsville is.
Sure.
And they're spot on. You're better off to be together than apart. And at the end of and it's just my opinion for what it's worth, but I mean, just think about the level of government that you're going to have to create. Just think about all the brain damage that you have to go through, and the taxes. Again, what was the gentleman that wrote that long?
Mark McKinney. I mean, that was an incredible comment. Mark McKinney.
Mark, you literally...
He's criminal justice guy.
Got it. Well, smart dude.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a tassel and a graduation suit on here. He's really smart in his profile picture.
And no Batman suit?
Let me see if I can mark. That was an incredible comment.
Yeah.
I
mean,
I'm sending him a friend request. I need to have this guy in my social media network.
He needs to be on the show.
Yeah,
but,
right?
But he's 100% right. I've pulled all these different enabling languages from the state on how to do this. I've pulled the Scottsville tax structure, right? So what would ultimately happen, and Mark spelled it out, let's assume it happens, right? All of a sudden now there's this town and it's 10,000 people. The best way to think about it is another Lake Monticello, because in essence, a town kind of functions like an HOA. I'm oversimplifying it. It's much more complicated than that because, an HOA doesn't have enabling legislation. But, and I'm going to say something that Mark is going to probably agree to me.
Mark McKinney just accepted my friend request.
There you go, Mark.
Mark McKinney, get in this conversation, Mark McKinney.
So
I'm going to tag him. Mark McKinney, we're giving you props right now.
So let's assume all this happens, and let's assume, based on the article that I read, that the purpose of this is to curtail development. Let's assume that's what it is. That's the whole purpose of this. The bottom line, the town, let's assume this becomes the incorporated town of Crozet, which is, let's assume, is the same structure, which it would have to be, as the town of Scottsville. They cannot do anything because of the Dillon rule. They can't do anything that directly is in conflict of whatever rule is in the state. So, for instance, if the state legislature says you can do X in a rezoning, the town of Crozet can't say, no, you're not allowed to do that, right? So they're going to go through all this. They're going to do all this issue to go through this whole thing, get to the finish line, and in essence, they really can't enact any zoning ordinance that directly contradicts what's out on the state legislature side.
Now, what's the pro of becoming a town?
I think it's more emotional.
So
frankly.
You're just saying it's having an identity, a brand identity.
Well, I think, again, I'm only going by the article that I read, and I virtually attended some work sessions and stuff like that on this master plan end of it. I think the thinking, or the emotional thinking, is, well, if we become a town, we can control our own destiny. And the point I'm trying to make is, some of it you might be able to, but for the most part, unless whatever you do here has to match what's doing on the state. It's that simple. And so you can't do anything that's different that's already on the books in the state. So what comes to mind is our dear friend James King, my fellow Marine buddy. All right? So what his dad did, right, prior to 2007, this whole vineyard and beer business was restricted. Actually, the localities were trying to restrict it, right? Whatever they wanted to do from a zoning perspective. So they went to the state and they adopted a new ordinance, a new law, which then now, this locality can't contradict anything that's in the state. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if they didn't do that, then we wouldn't be sitting in King's Vineyard, or we wouldn't be sitting in
King
Family Vineyard.
Yeah.
Thank you. We wouldn't be sitting in any of the vineyards or the breweries in it, because it
Mr.
allowed.
King, a pioneer.
Pioneer, without a doubt. He led.
Rest in power.
Rest in peace. Led the charge on that amongst other folks, of course. So that, it all sounds great and all sounds, rainbows and puppies, right? But until you really dig into everything and everything Mark just said, it is definitively a two-edged sword.
Mark said, "Thank you, Keith, for the kind words," and I responded to him, "No, thank you. You made the show better today."
I'm the executive producer. He has to do that. He has to do that.
Instagram loving what they're hearing right there.
He has to do that. So, I would love, you do this on your show all the time?
Sure.
I would love somebody in the feed to contradict what we're saying.
Okay. Well, how about this? Mark, who knows this topic extremely well, and I'm going to take Mark's comment that he left on the I Love CVille page, and I'm going to paste it in every other comment section and on Instagram so you can read his very thought out and thorough and intelligent analysis. And I'm going to give him props. Mark, can you do me this favor? Can you give we know you're against it, but can you put in the feed, Mark McKinney, the positive reasons of why Crozet should be incorporated into a town? Let us know. I know you're against it, but give us the positive of why it should happen. Anybody else too? Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Snapchat, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Pandora. We're on all those.
In a string between two cans.
We're on all those.
String between two cans.
Mark, why should it happen?
So I think why the emotional context is being happened in this stuff. And look, it's the essence of NIMBYism, right? And everybody who watches the show know I'm in favor of YIMBYism, right? But if you take, again, we're quoting this article that the Daily Progress put on, 2020 certificate of occupancy, so these are homes that are actually finished, 1,486 in the town of Crozet. The next closest is this Rio Road corridor, which was 1,190. Nothing other than that came up over, let me see, the Fifth Street extended area was up at 804 COs, certificate of occupancies. Pantops was 856. That's what's happening. What's happening is it's growing, and those who are familiar with Crozet, you know, around the downturn, you couldn't give anything away out there, and it became. I remember this back in the mid '90s, late '90s, and we were building 30, 40 houses, particularly in Lake Monticello, which is 4,500 lot subdivision. And I remember having this conversation like it was yesterday with an adjoining property owner. We were building a house next door, and they were there for like 10 years, and they literally thought nobody was ever going to build next to them. And I said, well, what do you think all these lots are here for? Right? Well, we never thought it. I said, well, you had an opportunity to buy the lot, so nobody would do that. But the bottom line is every one of these lots at some point in time, out of 4,500, there's going to be a house on it. That's kind of what this is about. And when you bought into it, that's what you bought into. You knew that was going to happen. Same thing could be said a little bit about Crozet. And I'm not, by any stretch of the imagination, an expert of Crozet, but they're trying to amend this master plan. Personally, I'm in favor of it. I'll just go on the record for that. Because
why?
Well, because if it does get adopted, the portion.
This is the first time you've gone on record about this.
Yeah, because it goes to my affordable housing chairmanship hats that I wear, right? And this would be an opportunity to get some affordable housing in Crozet. And whoever's watching this, I don't know if Caitlin's got an opportunity to get on. I didn't do
Caitlin Mancini, jump in here.
I didn't have an opportunity to do this, but if somebody does a quick search in the Crozet area to take a look at what the median sales price is in Crozet, I bet you it has a 6 in front of it.
No, I bet you it's a 5 in front of it.
It could be a 5. Could be a 6, too.
What's the median sales price? They need to go on Paragon, right?
Yeah, they need to go do
Get on Paragon. Any agents, help us out with this.
Please.
You want to know 2020?
2020, yeah.
Median sales price in Crozet in 2020. What's the median sales price?
I didn't do the homework on it, but
agents, help us out.
Yeah. So I mean, you've got to kind of. I'm referring to single family detached, so you want to kind of look at it from that perspective, and you got to include new construction in it too, to kind of get, because this 1,486 is all new construction. That doesn't include the resales that are trading, changing hands in 2020.
Mark says the only positive reason I can see giving Crozet the town distinction is the residents would have the ability to control growth. Beyond that, I don't see any positive from it.
Yeah, they can control growth, but only as much as the Dillon rule will allow them to do that, right? And they have some flexibility without a doubt, and I don't want to get into the minutia of it, but for all intents and purposes. And to quote Chris Henry, the ability to control the growth would not be any different than what Albemarle County currently has, right? The rights and the ability to do that as granted by the state. It would be exactly the same. They can't say, I want you to plant grass with the brown side up and the green side down, right? Because the state says, no, you have to always plant green side up. It's a little bit of a weird example, but I'm trying to be.
This is a very weird example.
I know that. I'm trying to be a little way out there.
Yeah. I got your point.
I'm trying not to get too geekish is what I'm trying not to do. But the bottom line is they can't do it. Anything other. Then they could do different things, but I think it's Mark who said that. All that's going to do is put pressure, because it's just going to they're going to draw a circle around Crozet, the areas around that. Now, they're going to have to go through the Albemarle County process and all that kind of great stuff. But, I think in theory, You know, if we were,
how would you say? Would you say it worked out for Scottsville?
I love Scottsville. Scottsville's a cool little town.
I think it's a cool little town. But don't hold back. You never hold back. Would you say it worked out for Scottsville?
I think where it is today, it worked out. Again, I just know Scottsville from 1987 up until now, and in the late 80s and the early 90s, you know, it was hard to get something done out there, right? It just half the town was boarded up, and I don't know. You probably don't remember the Waltons. Do you ever watch the Waltons? Did you ever watch the Waltons?
That's before my time.
Right. So us old people that watch the Waltons, the Dewdrop Inn in the TV series of the Waltons was in the town of Scottsville.
Right.
The original.
The Dewdrop Inn. I've had many a cocktail in there.
Yeah.
That was a spot.
Well, and
330 Valley Street used to have a great little bar there as well.
And everybody knows that's a Schuyler story. The Waltons lived in Schuyler, the town of Schuyler.
I like having a couple IPAs at the James River Brewery in the beer garden in the back.
Yeah.
And then my wife and I and kid, obviously before COVID, we would walk down and we'd have dinner at Tavern on the James.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Tavern on the James is great.
Yeah. The history with Scottsville is a little unique because prior to them putting in the flood system, right, the Army Corps of Engineers, and there's a technical term that just escapes me at the moment, you know, the town used to flood all the time. Right, when the James started coming out of its banks, it would just flood. So they put this berm flood protection levee. That's the word I'm looking for. This levee system in there.
You're gonna love Mark McKenney even more. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Mark,
I gotta write Mark's down because did he say he's a criminal? Is he a criminal guy?
I've got to go to a Virginia appointment. He's enjoyed the show. A little more background on me. I have is an MPA and a Master of Public Administration. I think that's what an MPA is, right, Mark? He is a Master of Public Administration from Penn State.
There you go.
He's a veteran.
There you go.
And he pays a lot of attention to local government. I tagged you so you guys can friend request.
So ask him what flavor of veteran is he?
What he wants to know, what flavor of veteran are you? Where'd you serve? What branch?
Branch, that's what I'm asking. Yeah. Just so I could say Semper Fi to him. I'm going to say Semper Fi anyway. I think that's what it is, Masters in Planning Administration or Public Administration.
Public Administration.
Public Administration. It could be planning, too. It could be planning. But, yeah. So,
Yonna Smith, 2020. Thank you, Yonna. Yonna Smith.
Thank you,
Yonna. Median sales price from Crozet, Virginia in 2020 has got a 5.
Yeah, okay.
541, 546.
Stop gloating.
Sorry, I'm not gloating.
You're gloating. Look at the smile. They're like the cash. What's the cat from?
The Cheshire Cat?
Yeah, there you go. That's
the Cheshire Cat.
Yeah.
541. That's a hell of a number. I'm going to repeat that statistic again. Thank you for Keith Smith to bring this up.
Yeah.
The median sales price in Crozet, Virginia in 2020 was $541,546.
But what I would ask her is to pull out the single family attached and just do detached.
So only you want to know single family detached?
Just
only?
the detached.
Just
only. But it's got a 5 in front of it, right? And the point is you know, if
U.S. Army and Master of Public Administration from Mark.
Public Administration. There you go.
Well, smart dude.
Semper Fi anyway, Mark.
You always do that. You always do that.
If he was in the Marine, anyway, I just got to give Mark a little bit of a hard time, a little inter-service rivalry on that end of his stuff. But look,
she said, "Honey, it is only detached."
Was the honey an explanation?
No, I added the honey. I added the honey. How did you know the honey was not included?
No, I was thinking the honey was like an explanation points.
Oh no, it only detached was in all caps.
It was.
Yeah. What does that mean from Yoda?
That means, hey, stupid, keep on talking.
That does not mean that.
That's exactly what that is.
No, it doesn't.
Hey, stupid, keep on talking. Right? What else do you need from me, honey? That's what that other thing means. You know, I got work to do. You guys sit around and talk for an hour or an hour and whatever. And I got
Yoda Smith is his beautiful better app.
Yeah.
He calls her his beautiful better 7/8.
7/8, without doubt. Yeah, so it's an interesting concept, but I think that's all it is a concept. I just don't think it has any legs. I think it's a great project to take a look at if nobody has any time to figure out how to make that work. But here's the reason why I'm in favor, and again, I very rare ever in 129 shows, which this one is, I typically don't take a stance on stuff.
You did today.
I did today, only because I really know that with the relationships of the Thomas Jefferson Community Land Trust and the relationships we're about ready to structure with PH, and we're slowly getting there, we're going to have the ability with our relationships to establish to put it'll be an attached product, but through our relationships, if this master plan gets adopted, to put a 1,700 square foot attached product, 2-car garage, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, with a 2 in front of a very low 2 in front of it, right? So that becomes into this affordable thing, and I guess the question is if you really are opposing this because you don't want any more growth, I get that. But if you're opposing it because you don't want affordable housing in that, I don't think anybody's saying that. That would just break my heart, right? And I get it, it's just human nature. People come from here, they come from there, they come from here. We've got retirees coming into Charlottesville. A lot of them's going to Crozet. And it's a human failing. Not failing, that's the wrong word. It's just human nature. Once I'm here, I don't want it to grow. But where are these folks going to live? Where are these folks that are cops?
How about that? How about that topic right there? So if you're just tuning into the program, Instagram and Facebook, one of the topics we were talking about at the start of the show was where retirees are moving to in America.
Yep.
And get this statistic. According to Realtor magazine, Virginia is the #1 state in the entire country where retirees are moving to. And get this statistic. Charlottesville is the second city, #2 in the country of where retirees are moving to. Waynesboro is #3, Roanoke is #4, Orlando is #1. So of any city in America where retirees are moving to, of any city, Charlottesville's 2, Waynesboro 3, Roanoke 4, Orlando 1. We already have a housing and inventory pinch. Imagine throwing 10,000 plus retirees into the area, into the mix. Where are they going to live? What's that going to do to affordable housing? Multiple people are asking for your snapshot of the market right now.
Yeah, so inventory is growing. Anemically, but it's growing.
Okay.
And we talk about this all the time, and I don't have the particular stats in me, but depending on who you talk to, some people think 90 days is that kind of point where it magically switches from a seller's market to a buyer's market.
90 days on market.
Thank you. 90 days on market. Depending on which little micro market you're looking at, I just know Lake Monticello because I looked at it earlier this morning.
How many houses on Lake Monticello? On the market?
Still 17. So
out of 4,400?
44, 42 and change.
Okay.
Somewhere around there.
Okay. How many open lots available for build?
Not a lot. We're over 90 some odd percent complete, built out, and then as a rule of thumb, there's a percentage that you can't build on. Some people will tell you anywhere between 1 and 10%. So let's just call it 5%. So if you do the math, there's just not a lot of lots left. But an interesting stat that we didn't talk about this, going back to this Realtor magazine and this app that they use, 26% of retirees, this is in 2020, moved away from cities and metros to find a smaller town to relocate in retirement. So I think 26% out of the total number, that's a huge number. This is COVID. Right, people are moving out of the metros area. We've been talking about this all the time. The data is showing it. But when we talk about Charlottesville, just to be clear, it's not the city; it's the metro area, right? Yeah. Same thing with Waynesboro. It's not necessarily the city of Waynesboro, but it's the metro area on that end of it. Yeah, so it's going to continue to grow. I think when you have every real estate agent in the country reading this. I think the housing market is super, super stable here. Now, how do we get around inventory? And this kind of ties into this conversation that we were having about Crozet, right? So one of the ways to do this is kind of create more inventory. Well, if you can't create more inventory, right, it puts more pressure on existing inventory, homes. Inventory is homes on that end of it. So if the town of if the region of Crozet or whatever it is, whatever this this portion here, basically stops additional growth, all it's going to do is raise the value of everything else.
Oh, of course.
And
basic supply and demand.
it's supply and demand,
Yeah.
and I
mean, and that's good for current homeowners. It's bad for anybody who wants to enter the market.
that's exactly right. And as long as interest rates stay anemic, which they are,
I mean, some people would say it's just let the market dynamics play out, Keith.
yeah, let the market dynamics play out. I agree with that. But, that's also what happened. That's also how we got ourselves into trouble in
2008.
2008, right? Well, it was a little bit more than that. It was.
We have more restrictions in
Oh,
place to
I've
keep
literally had a conversation with a client yesterday.
And they were asking, will this happen again?
No,
Okay.
we're trying to close a deal that they have. This is the first house, similar situation. Retired from Northeast. We're trying to close on a house on the 20th. Not trying to get into. I can't give too many details in it, but the problem is we're probably not going to make it because the appraisal process is not done yet, and because it's a great thing,
But it didn't appraise?
No. We haven't got the appraisal back yet.
And you're going to lose the deal because of that?
No. We just got to push it out, the closing a little bit. But my point is, I'm having a conversation with a client, having to explain that, because they haven't done this in 30 years, how in the past, prior to the implosion, the appraisal process was kind of whatever. It was very easy. Let's use those words on that end of it. Now it's very restricted. So it has to go through multiple set of underwriters, multiple set of eyes. We just, with the holiday on Monday, it's just delayed. It's going to close. Everything is in great shape. My point is I had to have this conversation with them because they couldn't understand why the appraisal wasn't back yet. And it wasn't back yet because the regulatory environment is such. And that I see that only getting, I don't want to use worse, but growing, right? The regulatory, and that is why we'll rally back around. That is never going to make a transaction happen.
I was having this conversation with
That makes sense?
client. I'm not going to use the client's name. Small business. We're talking 3 people, right?
Sure.
They have their business banking is with Bank of America.
Mm-hmm.
And Bank of America, maybe the biggest bank, probably the biggest bank, right?
I would say so.
It's all automated with Bank of America, everything.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get the PPE.
Oh, yeah.
And they can't get anyone on the phone. And this particular person's not fantastic with paperwork. And my advice to them was you have to have someone in the local market where you can walk into the office or schedule an appointment and say face to face, help me get to this finish line to save my business. And Bank of America won't give them that. It's all automated. Where my other clients who are in the local market, they're just walking in person and doing it with the banker at the desk.
So one of the maybe positives out of this COVID, you're going to start seeing more of that. I'm seeing more folks that I know in the business space. If they're of a certain size, they have a dedicated person, right? But these small business folks, they're moving out of these big banks and knocking on the local bank doors and saying, "Hey, look." And so Yonna and I have always believed in local. We always done local, borrowed all our money local.
Where do you bank local?
Actually, I use UVA Credit Union.
Okay, they good?
Love them.
I use BB&T here.
Yeah.
I'm a little nervous about their merger with Truist and whether they become, big.
Yep.
But the one in Court Square in Charlottesville, they're fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I know a couple of guys or people, I should say, on the board.
At Virginia Credit Union?
Yeah. So, but
more comments
to me, it's
coming
local.
in. You wanna hear?
Love it.
Christopher Eagle.
Hey, Christopher, how are you today?
He says, fellas, The Big Short, it's a good movie detailing a lot of how the crash back in 2007, 2008 happened.
Sure.
The big picture of what was going on. Christopher Eagle, I love that movie. Excellent comment.
Good
Michael
man.
Plecker, watch the movie Margin Call
There you
for
go.
a good look into the housing and financial crisis of 2008. 2021 doesn't carry the same dynamics, and housing will remain tight for the next few years.
I would agree.
Michael Plecker, I will watch. Margin call. I have not watched that. Thank you for the suggestion.
Yeah, so I mean, and I'll on Friday I'll bring in some stuff. So we
We're eating Oreos on Friday.
well, and then data.
Oh,
But
okay. I can't wait for the Oreos. Michael Plecker says it's the worst cookie, the Oreo.
okay.
Does not like the cookie, the Oreo.
Everybody's entitled to their opinion. We can agree to disagree.
We can.
Right? You know, and you know what? That's hopefully as a region, hopefully as a country, we can get to that point.
Yeah,
right?
I was having this conversation with.
You know what I'm referring to,
Oh,
right?
yeah. I know exactly what you're referring to.
Yeah.
Only you and I do, though. Nobody else. But I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, we got cameras?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
You were on point today.
I thought we were just having a conversation.
I mean, pretty much that's what we've been doing.
That's what we've been
I think that's why people enjoy watching the show. I was having this conversation the other day.
And I'm flattered. I can't tell you. I wake up early on the show days to get ready, and I just flattered that people are literally do this, watch this. It's just I can't put it to words.
What do you make of inauguration week?
Inter-
Inauguration week.
Interesting story about that, and I have to. Is Harry watching?
Harry, let us know if you're watching.
my
Let me
son?
tag Harry Tyson.
Tag Harry, because I'm actually going to give a shout out to my oldest daughter. So Yonna actually was supposed to take the train up tomorrow.
Okay. Well, we're having this? Did the conversation, did this change?
It did change.
Because initially it was a little sore subject, right?
It was a little sore subject.
Yeah, right. So are you sure you want to go down this road?
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
Whatever. Whatever.
You know, I gave you an out right
I
there.
know. Well, just don't hurt me too bad.
I gave you an out.
Don't hurt me too bad. No, but I want to give, and if you tag her.
Oh, Harry Tyson's watching.
Good.
Harry, what's up, dude?
Harry.
I feel like I know Harry, and I've never even met him.
You two guys would get along really great.
I bet.
Two people that love to bust my chops.
The three of us just have some drinks and.
Oh no, I won't be
some
allowed
bullshit.
to. I won't allow it to be drink. I'd have to sit in the corner, sit there, told to shut up.
Can you finish your thought on what changed?
So I want to, Harry, please tell my oldest daughter that I'm giving her a shout out, right? Because when we were talking to them early in the week about Yonna taking the train on the 20th, Yasmina said it's not going to happen.
His oldest daughter is delivering their second kid this week.
Next week.
Next week.
Well, or sooner.
You already said scheduled C-section.
Sexual C-section.
Yeah.
But, little Vienna might have a different thought about that and want to
Sure,
come
of
earlier.
course.
But, so, I owe her a huge apology because when she said, Daddy, they're going to cancel the train going through Union Station, I laughed at her. I said,
Because of the inauguration, they did.
And damn it, she was right.
So is Yonna flying?
No, we just taking the train the next day.
Okay.
I'm taking the train on Thursday.
Okay.
But they literally, right after I laughed at her, right after we did that, we got an email from Amtrak and saying they're canceling everything through Union Station. So I am publicly in front of many, many thousands and thousands and thousands of people
Harry's watching.
offering my apology for laughing at my oldest daughter. She was right.
There you go. Well, dot the I's and cross the T's with the inauguration. I look at it as an opportunity after this week.
Oh, I'm always talking about trains. I don't know where you go. I'm not going anywhere but trains.
After this week, we turn the corner as a country.
Yeah.
That's how I hope.
Yeah. So, best way I can explain it. I hope we get to the point with our Oreo discussion, right? Right. If we can get to the point with Oreos, some people like to dunk, some people
Agree to
don't
disagree.
like to dunk. Some people think they are horrible, which I totally don't get.
I double dunk. You're a single dunker.
I'm a single dunker.
I'm a double dunker.
I'm not brave enough to do a double dunk.
Okay.
But because there's nothing worse than it falling in the bottom of the cup.
You don't want the residue at the bottom of the milk cup.
That's just
But I'm a
horrible.
double dunker, though.
Okay, well, I'm proud of you. Okay. Yeah, whatever. Do you feel good about that? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how you feel about
Sound
being
like
a
my
double dunker.
wife.
Let's talk about this.
Let's talk about that.
Tell me how you really feel
Tell me
about
how
it.
you feel.
Tell me how you
I don't
feel.
like talking about my feelings.
I noticed that. You don't. It's okay for you to make me talk about mine, but I can't talk about yours.
You openly choose to talk about
yeah,
your feelings.
I don't really care.
No, I mean you're in touch with your feelings.
I am as comfortable in my Keith suit as I could possibly ever be.
That's great.
Yeah. But
Christopher Eagle, I don't dunk Oreos. I only dunk homemade chocolate chip cookies. Good
See?
answer.
Well, there you go.
Christopher Eagle.
So Christopher Eagle
Christopher's knocking Oreos.
and Michael Plecker are
They don't like the Oreos.
They don't like them. But here's the deal. We do. And that's okay. And we can disagree to agree. Everybody likes their own type of cookie.
Yonna's enjoying the conversation right now. She put a smiley face emoji in.
So you know what this whole deal is about? This whole Oreo cookie thing's about?
What?
If you don't think I'm trying to work an angle to get some extra cookies at the house,
Yeah, he told us, Yonna, that you hide the sweets from him.
I'm not allowed to have cookies. She hides them.
You don't know where the hiding places are. How long have you been in the house?
She's a tricky little lady.
How long have you been in the house?
Long enough that I can.
You don't know where the hiding places
That's
are?
even worse. I built it.
Yeah. He built the house.
She's so smart.
She's so
She's so smart.
He built the house and he doesn't know where the hiding places
literally.
My 2-year-old son, Trey, has already figured out all the hiding places in the house.
I gotta invite Trey over to the house.
He's a sleuth.
Trey, find the cookies, Trey. I'll split. We'll make a deal. I'll split them in half with you.
Cookie.
Cookie.
Oh, this man's good people. His name is Keith Smith. Keith Smith and Yonna Smith of the Yes Team Realtors, A+++. If you're looking to list your home, if you're looking to buy a home, I can't tell you a more honest and integrity-focused couple than Keith and Yonna Smith of the Yes Team Realtors. I'm serious, guys. I've seen it with so many people. So many people. His name is Judah Wickhauer. We'd be remiss not to give him props for putting up with these two knuckleheads right here. Judah Wickhauer's our director.
Well, I mean, you might want to start the shout out on our 70s.
Oh, yeah, the telethon. Okay, here's another thing. You're going to start seeing this network going balls to the wall over the next 30-some days about this 24-hour telethon that we're going to do on the I Love CVille Network. Susan Steinmart is extremely good. Someone tag Susan Steinmart. Susan Steinmart is extremely good at being persistent without being infuriating. And I respect it tremendously. That's a skill that she's good at.
Right, and I won't.
You know what I'm saying with that?
I know exactly. I deal with it every day.
She's like, hey, she's keeping me in line. You know, she's like, I'm impressed.
Well, I gave her permission to do that. I said,
you did? Is that how it's happening?
Yeah, that's
people don't realize
permission
this.
from me, not to you.
People don't realize this, but guys like him and I, who are more macro and vision type of people, we need folks like Susan Steinmart in our lives to keep it going, right? We can help set the plan and orchestrate how we get to the finish line.
That's exactly
But it's the Susan Steinmarts of the world that take us to the finish line.
Without a doubt.
Is that safe?
Oh, 100%. Would not be.
We have the vision.
Yeah. And then step back up. And,
Judah Wickhauer.
Well, you know, to wrap back to the Chip Boyles discussion, right? You know, if you've never run a business before, you know, what you do is you hire the best person possible, give them the tools and stuff, and stay the hell out of their way and let them do their job. Now, if they don't do their job, you know. I
try to do that with you, Judah. Do I do that?
Yeah, no.
Stay the hell out of the way?
No, you don't.
You got nothing to say?
I'll say it for you. No, you don't.
All right. But Regina Loves Coffee says, fry the Oreo, fellas. Fry the Oreo.
Oh, what's the restaurant?
Jack Brown's.
Jack Brown's.
Yeah.
That's
Look,
right.
our chemistry's working.
Jack Brown.
Jack Brown's does the Oreos.
If I didn't have a meeting to go to, that would be a good lunch.
If should I cancel on Lloyd to go to Jack Brown's to eat fried Oreos?
Don't do that.
I'm joking.
Don't do that.
You know I'm joking. Lloyd, I'm sorry, we can't do our interview. Keith Smith and I are going to Jack Brown's to eat fried Oreos.
Or just invite him.
Yeah. To the fried Oreos?
Yeah. I don't know if he'd take one or not.
He'd eat fried Oreos.
I don't know. That'd be a great question.
You want me to ask Lloyd Snook on the I Love CVille show? Do you eat fried Oreos?
Let's forget about this chip thing. We need to understand what your position is on fried Oreos.
There you go.
That's an important thing.
Can we let's stabilize the organization with fried Oreos?
You know, it could happen.
That's a wrap.
Thanks, guys.
Hey.
Good luck today at your 12.
You're on point today.
Yeah, thank you. Good luck on your noon show today, man.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Keith Smith, Jerry Miller, Judah Wickhauer, Real Talk, Tuesdays and Fridays, 10:15 to today, 11:23 on the I Love CVille Network. One of the best shows, and I hate to say this, if not the best show we do on this network. This one right here.
You do a lot of good shows.
Thank you. We both do. Yasmina accepts his apology.
There you go.
Yasmina, your daughter accepts your apology.
I actually did it actually spoken to her this morning on the way into the
Yeah, I
city.
really hope you didn't you didn't apologize to her first through the show.
No, I apologized this morning on the phone.
She accepts the apology.
Yeah, good.
Okay. That's a
Yeah.
good way to end.
Well, I got to find out if she really accepts the apology. Well, that's
Isn't
just
that
Harry.
how it works with these ladies? All right, I accept your apology, and next thing I know, the grudge is still there 3 days later.
Oh, there's no grudge. Oh, she was right.
No, I'm just talking
was
about
spot on,
in
right?
general.
Yeah. Well, there's a story about that. We'll save it for another
For
day.
another day, because we both got to go.
We both
All
gotta
right,
go.
guys, we are out of here. You have a great day. Thank you for joining us. Take care. Oh.